Got the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Baltimore Ravens, who I know you love this game because you're a big Ravens fan. Let me just get right into it. I think these are two of the best teams in football. I Pittsburgh, I can't say enough of the way they're playing right now. I would say if the season and the playoffs started today, I don't know if there's a team playing better football right now, but it's a long season and there's still room for both of these teams, frankly, to improve. But Pittsburgh is realizing more of their potential, in my opinion, at this point. Fantasy football wise, I don't, because of Baltimore's defense and they've had a bye week to prepare. I don't love the offense as much as I usually do. So I'm actually going to sit Roethlisberger in one quarterback formats. James Conner, I think, will be more involved in the receiving game. So I think he's worthy of a start, even though Baltimore's really good against running backs or defenses. Juju Smith-Schuster, you can play him. Deontay Johnson is the interesting one because everybody was talking about Claypool. While Deontay Johnson was out, Claypool goes nuts. Deontay Johnson comes in, leads the team again in targets. I believe every game that he's played and finished, I believe he's led the team in targets there. So it's something to be cognizant of. But he also got roughed up. We'll see. I think he's questionable for this week. But if he plays, I like him. If he doesn't play, I like Claypool. Claypool, I'm not freaking out. But again, it's something to pay attention to. Claypool really blew up when Deontay Johnson was out. Is that a dynamic that will continue? I don't know. I don't like Ebron this week. For Baltimore, is this the week? And Lamar Jackson, you start him. Is this the week, like we saw Detroit Lions after a bye week, is this the week that J.K. Dobbins gets in there? I'm curious to see what happens with the running back carry distribution. Marquise Brown, I think you can play. Mark Andrews, I think you can play. The way the Steelers defense is playing right now, going to be a tough one. I know it's going to break your heart when we get to the line here, David, because I'm spoiling everything right now. But you go ahead and take it away. Tell me about it. Try to be objective about your Ravens, man. Try.
You know, I'm very objective about my Ravens. Mark Ingram was on my all-fade list this year.
Okay, fair.
So I'm not afraid to speak ill words about Ravens, especially from a fantasy perspective. I can put aside my personal biases. But I still believe that Ravens defense is among, if not the best defense in the NFL.
Top three for sure.
And I do believe there will be a Pittsburgh Steeler who has a good game this week. Problem is, I don't know which one. Talk about maybe Juju looked like he's starting to get back the trust and the high leverage because we saw Deontay early on, Claypool go. Those are games where they were dominating. This was a close, tight game against Tennessee, and it seemed like Juju was like where he wanted to go when he needed to make a play. 9 for 85 for Juju. I believe he had 14 targets, so I'm not panicking on Juju as much as I was before. Claypool, I'm not hesitating in a dynasty perspective. Still believe he's the next big thing. But from a redraft perspective, it's quite clear there's going to be ups and downs. It's going to be a guessing game on a weekly basis, not just between the three wide receivers, but what Eric Ebron's involvement is as well. He had 6 for 50 this past week. So it's going to be a little bit of a headache, unfortunately, with 3 really good wide receivers and a tight end who can steal targets just on a weekly basis. You probably almost absolutely have to start Schuster and Deontay at this point, but if you get burned, don't be surprised. For Pittsburgh running backs, Connor, don't like him at all this week. I just don't. I'm sorry. I believe in the Ravens defense.
Analytically, I would say you're correct on that. I tend to like him a little bit more, but I completely respect that argument for sure.
But I do love Benny Snell as a stash, not as a play this week. It has become clear that, one, Benny Snell is the handcuff to own in Pittsburgh. If James Conner goes down, he's getting the lion's share of the touches, and he's already their goal line back. They're taking James Conner out to go to Benny Snell in goal line situation. So is that going to give him standalone value just getting goal line touches? Absolutely not. But with James Conner's injury history, does he have top 12 running back upside if Conner goes down? Absolutely. And when you're betting on upside handcuff stashes, you want to probably target the ones whose starter gets injured the most. Who gets injured the most out of any running back in the NFL? James Conner. So go out, stash Benny Snell.
Raheem Mostert is really going for that top spot, though.
He's making a run at it. That's
he
for
is.
Sure. Dalvin Cook as well.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Right.
Dalvin Cook was probably already fighting for James Conner to start the season. But anyways, for Baltimore, obviously I think you got to start Andrews and Brown this week. Even in a tough Pittsburgh matchup, I think they're going to lean on their studs. Mark Ingram, is he going to play? That is a major question mark. He was banged up going into the bye. I don't know if he plays. I get it with Gus Edwards, and especially if you're looking beyond just the Pittsburgh matchup, if Mark Ingram goes out, he is going to have value. He's running the ball that well, but we have to separate reality from fantasy. Gus Edwards hasn't caught a pass yet this year. He hasn't caught a single pass, guys. That's bad news for fantasy. Unless you're playing in 0.5 PPR or standard, it's going to severely limit his upside in even 0.5 PPR or PPR formats, and it's going to make him extremely volatile, very volatile. So if Ingram's out, absolutely, he's worth the add. The running back landscape is barren, but don't just think Gus Edwards becomes an every week start with Mark Ingram out. You're going to need him to have a good matchup in order to plug him in. If Ingram's out, he's absolutely a sit against Pittsburgh for me. If he gets into the end zone, great. If not, don't expect him to catch the ball at all.
Yeah, let me hit you with the line here. Bovada has Pittsburgh +5 versus the Baltimore Ravens. Who do you got?
+5?
+5.
What the hell has Pittsburgh done wrong? That's got to come down, right? I
mean,
as the week goes on.
You would think. I saw that. I thought it was. I thought the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to be favored, even on the road, or at least it was going to be a push. So I actually logged in this morning, rare for me on a Monday morning, just to go in and take advantage of the line before it gets bet down. I mean, I've seen lines already this week, move like 4 points, even between Sunday and Monday. That one +5. I took Pittsburgh just because. Look,
as a Ravens fan, I'm taking Pittsburgh at +5.
Yeah, I mean, this. You know how it goes with this matchup. It's always a field goal, man.
It's tough. It's going to be a tough game between these two. Whichever team's getting 5 points, you take them.
Yeah,
whichever team's getting 3 points, I think you take them.
Yeah, I agree with that. And look, I mean, these two teams are playing great football, and their defenses are playing well. And I think people probably assume this is going to be like a 28-27 type game or something like that, or maybe even like a 35-32. It would not shock me at all if this is a 17-14 kind of game. I mean, like both of these defenses are so good. Both of these offenses can put up points. But, the way I look at it is Baltimore, if Baltimore takes that early 2-3 score lead, like Pittsburgh could close the gap. If Pittsburgh takes an early 2-3 score lead, we've talked about this before, it's harder for Baltimore to close the gap. So with Pittsburgh getting 5, I think the game's going to be close regardless. But if one team's going to blow the doors off the other, I think it's more likely that Pittsburgh would blow the doors off of Baltimore just based on how potent. I think the Steelers have scored like 27 points in every game this season. I don't think that's going to be the case this year, but 5 points, that's a lot in this matchup. Two very good teams, though, man.
Give me the Steelers. How's that for a Ravens bias?
I'm telling you, that's the first time you picked against the Ravens all year.
I know, and I think I said earlier in the year, I don't care what the spread is. I'm taking the Ravens every week.
Yeah,
I'm a liar.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of points in this matchup. But you know how it is. I mean, it's the AFC North, like especially Pittsburgh, Baltimore. They're always within a field goal of each other. I think that's a wild line. So I took advantage of that. Let's move it on.